Call of Duty 2025, Black Ops 7, or whatever it ends up being called, this year's Call of Duty game, absolutely everything we know so far from leaks for both the campaign, multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone. A full recap, which is absolutely wild considering we're at the start of the year, and we already know so much about the next game. The Call of Duty community has been buzzing with leaks about the 2025 release for literally over a year now. The next installment in the Black Ops series coming so soon. Following the release of Black Ops 6, this game is rumored to pick up where Black Ops 2 left off, which released ages ago now in 2012, continuing its futuristic campaign storyline while introducing new multiplayer and zombies features. And it's wild since Black Ops 2 was set in 2025, of course, and now we are literally in the year it took place. But obviously the real world is not how they predicted. We do not have the sheer scale of futuristic technology that it was foresighting. But a lot of the politics of that game are similar to the real world today. We are seeing a similar scenario to Modern Warfare 2 and 3 back to back, where we're now getting two Black Ops games back to back. But obviously Modern Warfare 2 to 3 wasn't very successful. People didn't want such similar games back to back. But whilst we're getting two Black Ops games back to back, I think this situation is very different considering the fact that they are in completely different eras. Black Ops 6 is of course in the 90s, and then we're jumping literally 3 to 4 decades into the future, into the near future from our real world. So they will be vastly different, and Treyarch are probably oversighting the majority of this game, so have more control, whereas Sledgehammer Games of course oversighted most of what we saw with Modern Warfare 3 instead of Infinity Ward. Now right now there's no confirmed developer for COD 2025, however, like I say, I assume Treyarch are doing a lot of the brunt work, and they're probably being helped by Raven Software again, probably doing a lot of the stuff for the campaign. But let's go over everything we know, because apparently there's going to be a load of new multiplayer and zombies features, and it's crazy, we're going to be getting two fully fledged zombies experiences back to back. Yes, we've had, of course, for example, we just had Modern Warfare 3 zombies to Black Ops 6 zombies, but Modern Warfare 3 zombies was not on the same scale as traditional Treyarch zombies experiences. This game, I assume, will take a lot more focus and limelight from Treyarch instead of them just ditching the project post-launch like they did with Modern Warfare Zombies. So in this video, we will break down everything we know so far, but remember, like always, these details are based on leaks and plans can always change during development, so take everything here with a grain of salt. Most of these rumors stem from focus group sessions conducted by Activision, as well as insights shared by insider Tom Henderson for Insider Gaming. For those unfamiliar, focus groups are used by companies to gather player feedback on potential ideas. While the information gathered from these groups is intriguing, it's important to note that not everything discussed is guaranteed to make it into the final product. Sometimes concepts are floated just to gauge reactions and feedback, meaning some of these ideas might never materialize. Usually people who attend them merely see concept art or hear pitches for how the thing is envisioned to be once finished, rather than something like a pre-alpha that is more concrete. However, Henderson's sources have verified that much of this information is legitimate, even if some details could be misinterpreted. So let's break down what we know so far. One intriguing detail is its developmental codename, Saturn. This codename is noteworthy because it aligns more closely with the naming conventions used for Sledgehammer Games titles, such as Modern Warfare 3, which was codenamed Jupiter. This is a departure from the codename patterns typically associated with Black Ops / Treyarch games, which have historically used names like Zeus and Cerberus. While this may seem like a small detail, it could suggest a significant level of collaboration between development teams, or even a potential shift in how this title was being handled behind the scenes. It could lend credence to rumors that this title could have been originally under the helm of Sledgehammer before they handed it off to Treyarch, as, according to rumors, Sledgehammer Games are working on their next title, probably releasing in Call of Duty 2027. A long way away from now. Maybe they were involved somewhat in the initial production, but obviously they've worked on Vanguard and Modern Warfare 3 in very short periods of time, so they probably didn't do too much if they did have any role to play in this game. As you know, pretty much every single Call of Duty now has a million developers. There's not really a true main developer, they're just the ones that sort of package it and market it, but pretty much all of the studios end up working on every single game. So whilst I assume probably Treyarch and Raven will be the main studios, it wouldn't surprise me if Sledgehammer have or are helping in some capacity as well, whilst they're probably still working on their main game years down the line, especially since that is probably still in the concepting stages. The campaign is rumored to take place in 2035, 10 years after the events of Black Ops 2 and 10 years from our real world. The protagonist is said to be David Section Mason, returning to active duty despite having retired at the end of Black Ops 2, which I guess contrasts why he gave up the mantle, and he's continuing to follow in his obsessive footsteps as his father Alex Mason, thrusting himself back into battle. His story is expected to explore themes of espionage and information warfare, a reflection of the modern challenges of global conflict. This direction feels especially fitting for today's world, where technology and disinformation are powerful tools of warfare. Plus, the game's release year, 2025, like I said before, would also coincide with the year Black Ops 2 was originally set, making it absolutely perfect to release a nostalgia game and have a lot of remastered and remade content from the original Black Ops 2. Lots of people have been calling this a Black Ops 2 remake or remaster, but that doesn't seem to be the case at all. It's a brand new campaign, a brand new story following on from that game, but of course we're going to see remade maps, but new maps as well. The game is also rumoured to follow a new villain after Menendez's fall, and explore the aftermath of that. Now of course in Black Ops 3 we saw way into the future how those events eventually led to all of the D&I improvements and collapse of the world, etc. But this is a lot closer to the events of Black Ops 2, exploring more of the immediate aftermath and probably a new villain emerging in Menendez's dust. It would also be cool to see a flashback mission or something like that featuring Menendez. Now unfortunately his voice actor has passed away, and he was actually rumoured to be in some capacity in Black Ops 6, especially because we had young Menendez on the Cartel multiplayer map in Black Ops Cold War that was begging for a follow-up towards more of his origin story. However, we never ended up seeing that, and that could have been because he passed away. We were speculating, you know, maybe he might have recorded lines before his unfortunate passing, but maybe that just wasn't the case. But I guess the same could be true for COD 2025. There is the potential that because this game might have been in development for a while, since I think Treyarch have been working on Black Ops 6 and 7 simultaneously, considering the 4-year dev cycle, which probably explains why Black Ops 6 is lacking in some areas and people are not feeling like it was a true 4-year game, because they were getting comfortable with the new engine, which probably took up a lot of that dev cycle, as well as they might be working on this other game as well. Now, aside from leaks, we actually have in-game confirmation and hints that this game is going to be a Black Ops 2 sequel, as one of the biggest indicators of this comes from the inclusion of Eric Samuels as an operator in Black Ops 6, unlocked at Prestige Master level 1000. His in-game biography reads as follows: Eric Samuels was part of President Bosworth's Secret Service detail and was responsible for safety transporting her through Los Angeles during Menendez's drone attacks in 2025, a battle in which Samuels fought alongside and earned the trust of experienced CIA agents like David Mason and Mike Harper. Old school and tough as nails, Samuels' peers look to him for leadership and strength in times of crisis. His ability to spot threats well before they materialize, coupled with his cool head in a firefight, make him the ideal Secret Service operative. It is rumored that Samuels has turned down multiple CIA recruitment offers, preferring his role as a protector of the country's most important leaders. This inclusion of Eric Samuels as an operator not only confirms the Black Ops 2 canon ending, but also provides insight into the specific choices that led to this outcome. Of course, we know the canon choice from Black Ops 6 is that Alex Mason dies. People thought there was going to be a plot twist with him still alive in Black Ops 6, but that did not materialize. The Battle of Los Angeles, where Samuels fought alongside Harper, confirms that Harper survived. This survival means that Farid attempted to kill Menendez instead of sacrificing Harper to maintain his cover, leading to Farid's death. With Farid gone, Karma couldn't be saved during Menendez's attack on the USS Barack Obama, resulting in her death and the worm not being stopped. It's very interesting that Obama was canon to the Call of Duty universe, and it makes me wonder if they will ever try and incorporate some real-life characters again. But honestly, I feel like they kind of want to avoid that, or at least if they do, have them small scale to avoid controversy. But anyways, like I said before, we already know from Black Ops 6 marketing that Alex Mason was killed, and the official timeline video confirmed Menendez's death. So to nutshell what his biography provides in terms of confirmations from Black Ops 2's campaign and what we can expect with Black Ops 7, Alex Mason dies, Harper survives, Menendez dies, and Karma is killed. Samuel's presence as an unlockable character tied to such a significant milestone in Black Ops 6 further solidifies the rumours of a direct sequel to Black Ops 2. It also suggests that the narrative groundwork laid over a decade ago is about to evolve and be part of whatever this next game will be, as this is the first time we've ever been given enough concrete evidence to decide the entire canonical Black Ops 2 campaign run. Now, in terms of the reveal for Black Ops 7 COD 2025, I assume it's probably going to be later than Black Ops 6's was, which was quite early just because we're coming off of the back of Black Ops 6. They need to be careful with the marketing as well because people have a sour taste in their mouths from Modern Warfare 2 and 3 back to back, so they need to really try and stress that this is not going to be a repeat of that scenario. And this is truly going to be a very different feeling game and not just feel like DLC, which was a big criticism of Modern Modern Warfare 3, which I definitely think it will due to the eras being so different, even though they are both going to be booting from the same Call of Duty HQ as all CODs moving forward now are. Now, there are also rumours that the campaign is going to feature some semi-open world missions in it, but more similar to what we saw in Black Ops 6, although few and far between, and not like the very rushed Warzone rehashes that we saw in Modern Warfare 3's campaign in the open combat missions due to the short dev cycle for that game, it being made in about a year and a half. So I don't know to what scale there's going to be open world missions in this game, but I expect at least some. I don't know if they're going to go 50-50 like with Modern Warfare 3, but hopefully they are actually good. I assume we're probably going to get lots of missions in Avalon as well, similar to Black Ops 6, especially with what I'll lead on to in a bit. But other than that, we don't know too much about the campaign narrative, apart from, like I say, it's following the events of Menendez's demise, there's a new villain, there's going to be some open world missions, but in terms of gameplay mechanics, which I guess are unified between the modes, there's rumored to include the return of human shields, now with added features like attaching grenades to enemies, and again, you can throw bodies back at foes for tactical advantage. Omni movement will apparently return, obviously first introduced in Black Ops 6, but whilst it's returning, it's going to function differently with features like wall running and wall jumping for increased mobility. So I'm really excited to see that. Now, there's not going to be full-on advanced movement like exosuits in Black Ops 3, but you will be able to scale walls and bounce off of them to pulse yourself back into combat, which I think is going to be fun to work around with. There's also rumours there could be some sort of body roll feature. Also, Modern Warfare 4, COD 2026, what Infinity Ward are working on, is also rumoured to have some sort of movement similar to this. But I think they're going to keep the Omni movement at least slightly different in each of the games so that they're not exactly the same. But this seems to be something we're going to see in all CODs moving forward. In terms of the storyline and the lore of the Black Ops universe, which is now the entire COD universe, this, I guess, is the early days of how the advanced movement is going about towards the future into Black Ops 3, where we can eventually full-on jump. The ability to scale walls and traverse environments fluidly could make firefights feel more dynamic and engaging and add another layer to the complexity of Omni movement, which will surely be popular with fans of the new system, but also likely drive people who didn't like it even further away. So yeah, I imagine this will be controversial. People obviously hated on the advanced movement back in the day, but that was literally over 10 years ago now, or at least almost, since Infinite Warfare released in 2016. And honestly, I think that the gaming community has changed so much so that they're going to be more open to this than they were before, especially because it's not full on an advanced movement like jumping. I think a lot of people feel nostalgic about Black Ops 2 as well. Very much so. It's one of the most pristine Call of Duty's, most perfected and streamlined games. That just does almost everything so solidly. A game very similar to that, but still not exactly the same, is going to be perfect, and I think fits the real world that we're in right now. And at the end of the day, if the wall running is not received, they're probably going to scale back however the Omni movement is in Modern Warfare 4 and the games moving forward. This may also be soft launching the idea of some sort of advanced Warfare sequel that Sledgehammer Games reportedly want to do, or prequel game. They might be trying to gauge how the community react to this wall movement to see if they want some sort of full-on advanced movement in that game, which personally, even though people really hated on that, I wouldn't mind it here and there to mix up the Call of Duty so they don't just feel so synonymous. I definitely don't want to see them back to back to back like we saw with Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare, but every, 6 years, 5 years or however long is a good way to make sure the games don't just feel so similar, especially now they're on a unified engine. It's a way to break them apart. Now, in terms of what we know from multiplayer for this game, multiplayer fans can expect a blend of classic maps and new features. Leaks suggest that several iconic maps from Black Ops 2 and other titles will return, including Launch, but reportedly most Black Ops 2 multiplayer map remakes, which may be tied to the campaign storyline. So there are many returning maps that we could see. Now, and according to initial leaks, they wanted to have all of the Black Ops 2 maps remade/remastered to be there on launch, like Modern Warfare 3 launched with all of the original Modern Warfare 2 maps. However, due to criticism from that game just being DLC, they don't want to repeat that again, so they're not going to be doing all of them. There's going to be new maps on launch as well, but a lot of remakes as well, and I assume in the post-launch there'll be a blend of remakes and new ones as well, which I think is the right way to go about it. We need fresh content, but there's nothing wrong with bringing back classics as well to ensure that, especially when, the maps from back in the day were some of the best, and they're not making as good maps nowadays. So we kind of always need remakes to ensure that there's at least some good ones in the pool. Bringing back fan-favorite maps while adding modern gameplay elements like Omni movement could create a mix of nostalgia and innovation. So that's a good point to make, because literally the wall running, for example, is really going to change how these maps work. Now, obviously they brought Nuketown into Black Ops 3 and they facilitated it with new walls that you could run on so it could work with the new movement system. So I assume they're going to change up some of the layouts a little bit and add some walls that you can run on, as well as allow some of the walls from before to be able to be run on. Now, game modes like Uplink, Gunfight and Face Off are reportedly making a comeback. Uplink, especially with new advanced mechanics, could bring a fresh dynamic to competitive play. I thought thought that uplink was by far the best in Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3 because of the advanced movement. It allowed for flanking that you just couldn't experience on just boots on the ground combat, and I think even though we're not getting full on advanced movement, the wall running will make uplink so much more fun. A new system called network perks are also apparently in the works, though details remain unclear as to what these are or what they could do. This could involve perks being shared across modes or introducing a unified progression system, offering players a more cohesive experience across the game's various features, or perhaps boost perks that could go together if used in unison. It would be crazy if the perks unified between multiplayer, Warzone, but not just that, zombies and even the campaign, especially zombies. That would be wild, which I definitely don't think they should do. But they're trying to unify everything so much so it wouldn't surprise me. Or maybe if teammates take network's perks, they boost each other. We don't know, only time will tell. The addition of a wall jump mechanic to the Omni movement system first introduced in Black Ops 6 has also been leaked. This mechanic would build on the advanced mobility features already in place, such as sliding and mantling, offering players even more ways to traverse the environment, allowing us to jump off of walls in mid-air to perform various movement techs. The other thing rumoured for multiplayer is the return of a pick 10 system. Now this was actually rumoured for Black Ops 6 and at least was in development, but I think it got cut because they might be wanting to save it for Black Ops 7 instead, because obviously they don't want to just rehash the same game. They need to have differences in the systems, so we might be seeing it in Black Ops 7 instead, but again, it could still be cut. Apparently even Sledgehammer wanted it in Modern Warfare 3, but Infinity Ward higher ups got them to stop doing that, which is absolutely wild that they're just ruining the games and taking executive control over other studios. Ridiculous, but I digress. Now for zombies, the thing I and a lot of you probably watching this video are most excited about. I will be making a whole video dedicated to zombies in the future for 2025, but the zombies mode seems to be shaping up to be extremely ambitious, with leaks suggesting one of the largest maps in the series' history. And it's crazy that Treyarch are working on 2 zombies experiences at once, which probably explains why some of the maps in Black Ops 6 Zombies are smaller scale, and probably why they've been releasing maps so quickly, because they had a 4-year development cycle. They probably finished these maps a long time ago, or at least got close to finishing them, which is why they're able to release them so fast, and now they're probably just pumping them out quickly, and then they can focus entirely on COD 2025 Zombies, which is a good point to make, because this entire game for COD 2025 is being made in a very short time period, probably 2 years at most, whilst they were working on Black Ops 6 simultaneously. But honestly, they do sometimes make their best games under a crunch, just because they have to be less ambitious and scale things down to what can work under the time constraints. But judging from the rumors for Zombies, it doesn't seem like they're not being ambitious, but at least in terms of the multiplayer and campaign, they might be just sticking to what they're good at and what they know, keeping everything basic. But we'll have to see. Anyways, for Zombies, there's going to be a new mode with a huge map that's apparently going to feature a transportation system similar to Transit that will help players navigate the giant environment, according to Insider Gaming. The map is rumored to be set in Avalon, a location discovered in Black Ops 6's files, which is also expected to serve as the next Warzone map. Rumors suggest to us that it was originally intended for Black Ops 6 at some point, but either because of Activision wanting to push out Verdansk for the Warzone anniversary in March, or because Avalon was not ready to ship yet. Instead, we will be seeing Verdansk during in Warzone in Black Ops 6, which has been announced to be releasing in spring. It's probably going to release with the anniversary of Warzone potentially in Season 3 in March. Now, we can already see most of the Avalon Warzone map by flying outside of some of Black Ops 6's multiplayer maps that take place here, and of course some of the campaign takes place here as well. And obviously, Citadel takes place in Avalon, you can't see it in the Warzone map, but the Tomb you can actually see directly in Warzone as a point of interest. Now, I assume you can't go into the underground sections of the map, but just the spawn. So yes, while Citadel was technically in Avalon, it was outside of the giant Warzone map we've seen, whereas the spawn of the Tomb is a place you can fly over to see inside of Avalon in Black Ops 6's multiplayer. Now, such a large-scale setting could open up countless possibilities for exploration, survival, and storytelling within the Zombies mode, especially if a mode similar to Outbreak was given the story and presentation of something like round-based zombies. So this could be the true successor to Outbreak. Whilst Modern Warfare Zombies was also a successor to Outbreak, it was also merged with DMZ on a limited time mode. It would be awesome to see a full-on open-world zombies experience in this game alongside round-based as well. Speaking of, these rumors indicate that round-based zombies will return, but the speculation about a possible hybrid mode combining round-based survival with open-world exploration akin to Outbreak. This could give players the best of both worlds, allowing them to experience the classic round-based gameplay they love, while also exploring the map and completing objectives at their own pace. Or perhaps there are 2 modes, one Outbreak adjacent and one more traditional mode akin to Black Ops Cold War. Another exciting possibility is this 8-player mode, rumored for the game inspired by the classic Grief gameplay. We don't know if this mode would be cooperative or competitive, or how competitive it would really be if it was. Traditional Grief did not have a lot of ways to genuinely harm the other players outside of traps or the occasional meat drops, so a comeback of the mode may end up with a large-scale rework. A return to traditional mechanics like spawning with a pistol and using wallbuys is also on the table. If true, this could bring a nostalgic yet fresh experience for long-time fans, and this could be what we end up seeing being on this larger map. So basically, it seems like we're getting a large map, which could potentially be some sort of Outbreak-like mode on Avalon, and then we might also be getting smaller round-based maps as well. Maybe the 8-player mode is just on this large map, and then you just have the traditional 4 players on the other maps. We will have to see. While we're on the subject of nostalgia, according to an exclusive report by Insider Gaming, several sources have revealed that the original Zombies crew, Dempsey, Richtofen, Takeo, and Nikolai, might return in Call of Duty 2025. Now, obviously, I've been making tons of videos about this, so this is probably no shock to you, so I'm not going to dive too much into this. These characters are described as appearing older than their previous versions, but not as old as Ultimus, suggesting a new version of them and a new narrative direction, and not simply a return to their older versions. The storyline is rumored to involve a new antagonist seeking to absorb the dark ether essence of the original 4 to resurrect the old multiverse. Almost certainly the Shadowsmiths, one of whom we see at the end of Modern Warfare Zombies, who drags Ava Jansen into the mirror. Speaking of Ava Jansen, she is of course in the Liberty Falls mansion when she is dragged in, which could mean that she is actually part of the crew, or at least one of the side characters you hear from in Black Ops 7. And could even suggest a fully dark ether game if she gets dragged in there, and if the original Zombies characters are restored in the dark ether itself. And considering she's in Liberty Falls, could we even see some sort of Liberty Falls map? Are we not done with this location yet? Especially with the rumor of some sort of Outbreak open world type mode, I think Liberty Falls would be perfect, especially when we have many different maps side by side with each other. The town itself in the map we can experience right now, and the future DLC maps Mansion and Janus Towers, and potentially any others. And many fans have been pointing out how there's literally streets connecting from the town to Janus Towers that almost look like you can just walk out, but it's just been cornered off. Could this even be some sort of Outbreak map? And we are not done with this location yet, only time will tell. Now, according to the leaks, there are plans for 6 Zombies maps throughout the game's lifecycle, though it's unclear if this scope has changed. 6 maps could suggest 2 launch maps once again, with 4 planned DLC, but it's also worth noting that maybe for the large-scale mode instead. So it could be 1 launch round-based map, 1 big map, and 4 DLC maps, which could either be round-based or Outbreak, which could be similar to Black Ops Cold War, though Outbreak got additional maps for it throughout the seasons. But those maps were small and reused from the cancelled Euromountains map and multiplayer maps, whereas it seems this version of Outbreak is closer to the Cold War pre-alpha, where it all took place on 1 large map, as that's what Outbreak was meant to be, but due to hardware constraints back in the day, they had to incorporate the teleportation system. But obviously on the new Modern Warfare engine, with Modern Warfare Zombies, they've gotten the scale working to allow you to play on the full map and have a lot more zombies on the map as well, now that they're using the texture streaming, so they can push some of that stuff off onto the server side instead of the hardware side. Now, like I say, I'm going to make a separate video just talking about COD 2025 Zombies, and in that I'll talk about these rumors, and also I'll dive more into the storyline stuff, because obviously with the original characters back, that is absolutely huge, and I've made many videos on that. This is just kind of a summary of what we know for the game so far. Now, like I say, there is rumored to be an 8-player mode, so if we're getting the original crew back, that's only 4 characters, so there has to be 4 other, and I've speculated in prior videos that the other 4 characters could potentially be the Requiem heads, who all end up dead in Modern Warfare Zombies. I've speculated before that maybe their essence has actually been contained and their souls are within the dark ether, and they could join the original characters and fight side by side, back to back, even if it's for the last time, and fight the Shadowsmiths from within the dark ether. That would be perfect if they're not actually dead. I also have another theory that I've talked about in videos, that they could be stuck in a cycle, and their death is actually after COD 2025 Zombies, and they're stuck in a cycle between the 90s and 2023, which will be linked below if you want to see that. But that could explain the 8-player crew if we have these 8, which would be interesting how the original characters and the Requiem heads would interact with each other if this ends up being the case. And what's also interesting is, like I say, are they just going to be 4 characters on the other maps, and if so, is it just going to be the original characters on every map, or will they alternate between the different characters? I assume they would just have the original characters, since, you know, people want them back so much. It would be weird if they're only on some of the maps, but I personally don't think the Requiem heads are going to stay dead, considering Ravenov said perhaps he wasn't the one who needed to stay behind in Modern Warfare Zombies, suggesting the Requiem heads are somewhere else, which, like I say, I think their souls are in the dark ether, despite their physical bodies being gone. Another exciting rumor is the possibility of collaborations with other major franchises, potentially bringing iconic elements from Microsoft's IPs into the game. With Call of Duty now owned by Microsoft, this could mean operator skins, weapons, or other content inspired by franchises like Halo, Doom, or Gears of War. If true, this would mark a significant step in bleeding some of the most beloved gaming universes with the Call of Duty experience, adding an entirely new layer to the already interesting roster of crossovers Call of Duty has done so far. Can you imagine telling someone back during the heated rivalry days of Halo and Call of Duty on the Xbox 360 that it was pretty likely Master Chief would be an operator soon now. Insane. Hindsight is crazy. From an espionage-focused campaign to the return of iconic multiplayer maps and ambitious zombies modes, Call of Duty 2025 is shaping up to be a pivotal entry in the franchise. Whether it's the continuation of David Mason's story, the nostalgia of classic maps, or the massive scale of zombies, there's plenty to look forward to. So what are your thoughts on these leaks? Are you excited about the potential for a Black Ops 2 sequel? And where do you think Zombies is going to go story-wise to make room for the return of the original characters and an 8-player mode? Because the original crew were wiped from existence in Tag der Toten. They died. So a lot of people do feel like it's undermining Tag der Toten's ending. I've talked about that more in prior videos. Treyarch really need to be careful in how they pull it off. But I feel like Zombies for this game may be trying to give the original characters a proper ending and justice that the constraints and the problems that Black Ops 4 Zombies had didn't manage to achieve. Because they went out with a whimper, and they should have gone out with a bang. So maybe that's why they're bringing them back, so they can give them a more satisfying ending for the community. Whilst I like the ending itself, it's no secret that Alpha Omega and Tag der Toten were weird maps to end the massive story on, and the community was just in a really weird spot at the time. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more Call of Duty updates. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon with all of the Black Ops 6 content you've been waiting for, and like I say, that video focusing just on Black Ops 7 Zombies. Bye.